Good morning, everybody. It is March the 26th. Time to get after it again. We left yesterday's markets advising not to be short crude oil. Something was going on. And what is going on is that Saudi Arabia, with support from the Gulf states and Egypt, is bombing Yemen right now. It is rumored that the United States is giving them logistical support. I doubt it. It's given this administration's outright support for Iran. Iran issued statements to get out and cut it out and all the rest of that good stuff. But Yemen is on Saudi Arabia's border. Yemen has been taken over by Shia or Iranian-backed rebels. And Saudi Arabia is going to do something about it. Their existence is threatened, just like Israel's existence is threatened. And they're tired of waiting for some leadership out of the West. So right now in the Middle East, you have Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states lining up against Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon and Syria, and with Russia and China's backing, and the United States is probably on the sidelines. So we'll see what happens. The strength overnight in Globex in the treasuries, gold and crude oil, was based on the Saudi Arabian start of bombing. So what the world will look for is, how wide and how deep does this action go? If it's localized and it doesn't look like it's spreading, and Iran is not sending landing craft loaded with soldiers to Yemen to fight them, things will probably get back to normal in a couple of days. But the initial reaction is when you see a headline of war or escalation of the current war, is that treasuries rally, crude oil rallies, and so does gold. So we'll see how that plays out today. Today is the 7-year auction. And I'm getting unbelievable feedback. Are you all hearing interruptions breaking in, static on any meeting like I am, or I guess it's just me? Thank you. So here we are. We got the 7-year auction. The 10-year note, 128.5 to 29.5 is where the options market says the market will close. That makes a mathematical close tomorrow where the market maker makes the most money at 129. So we want to buy into weakness. The issue is 25, 21. I'd like to get it done closer to 21, and then 13 to 17 for buy 2. And I think the getting stops below yesterday's low at 22 is placed. So we got a pretty good chance to get long in this 21, 22 area. Then hopefully we'll be right. The overnight session is a B. That's probably a reflection on the extent of the war between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. But, there's no doubt that Saudi Arabia and its allies can prevail against Yemen, but once you've gone in and regained control of it, now what do you do? And that's always the issue. That's the same problem that Russia faces in the Ukraine. Yeah, we won the war, and it's never difficult to win a war, but it's what do you do to subjugate and stabilize the situation thereafter, and very, very few countries have the ways and means to do it. Very easy to break something, very easy to tear something down, very, very difficult to build anything. Your career, a business, global peace, and when you have that leadership vacuum that the world has right now, the bad guys around the globe are going to grab as much as they can, and everybody knows, as far as the United States is concerned, they've got 2 years to get all they can get and try to bring under their control, and then they'll see what happens with the new administration in D.C. it takes years and years and years to build something. It takes minutes to break something. And that's the situation we find ourselves in. Today's news, jobless claims, 293. The employment numbers, jobless claims are pretty easy to cook, and they are cooked. In fact, we're finding out a lot of things that news-wise looks like the Fed is cooking right now. Flash services, 57. Natural gas inventories, plus 10 BCF. No one will pay any attention to that except for the natural gas traders. And then KC Fed manufacturing at unchanged. I think the direction of the E-mini will have probably the biggest influence on today's trading, and it was sold pretty heavily overnight. So the E-mini's direction early in the session, jobless claims will be the first piece of news that we get. The flash services PMI might get some play. I doubt if the KC Fed will. And then onto the 7-year auction. And the first auction took place at 29.5. And yesterday's auction got off at 2.5 to 3, so we ought to expect an auction somewhere around 129 today. I think it'll be higher, and then into expiration tomorrow. Okay, moisture covered probably about 50% of Kansas last night. Yesterday it was in the Nebraska-Kansas border. Pretty good coverage in half the state of Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. So south central Kansas, which has the highest dry land hard red winter wheat production, continues to have the moisture head north and south of it. So hard red winter wheat country is getting some moisture right now. Okay, definitely a B in the overnight session. If you look at the 30-year where the option play was yesterday, the close at 165 favors the option market maker. It was really interesting when we started out this month and where the open interest has been in the calls. It's been in 165 ever since this series traded front. And so 164 is the floor for the puts. Yesterday there was some 168 action, but the 165, 164 is where the puts and options line up right now. So mathematical close at 64.16. Anywhere between 164 and 165 makes the market makers the most money. Okay, we got a chance to buy a little cheaper right now, so 9 to 13 is buy 1, 1 to 5 is buy 2. I like the long side of the market, again, because the weak auction is usually the intermediate term, and we saw that yesterday. We're currently at 17, so 23.27, sell 1, then 31.03 for sell 2, and obviously we like to sell against 165 better because of option expiration. Okay, gold rallied overnight off the news. It was looking pretty strong. We've had the 1,200 stops above 1,200 has been our trading target, and we certainly got that. And then some. So here we are. We've rejected prices above 13, and the breakout came basically at 1,200. The London low is 1202. We're currently at 1207. So 1202 1205. Let them test support, buy one. And then 98, 1200 even, buy two. On the sell side, 10 to 13 is where narrow resistance is. And then our 15 to 18, we got this high volume number at 18 for sell 2. Until the scope of this war is known, or this attack on Yemen, we got some bad players fight proxy wars all over the place in the Middle East. Also Russia and China do that. We'll just have to see where the scope of this goes. Saudi Arabia, the royal family of Saudi Arabia, has exported terror, not as covertly as Iran has, but they have done that. So it's interesting to see the two biggest players that either overtly or covertly support terror going at it right now. And this is between Iran and Saudi Arabia. It's between the Shia and the Sunni factions of Islam. Okay, looking at the euro. Get on the right page here. There it is. Don't know how the war really affects the euro, just kind of outright. It's not good in the sense that maybe oil prices go up and hurt the recovery in Europe. So 10.50 we liked yesterday. The 10.40 to 50 area was $110 to $110.50 was where we saw potential resistance, and we got up there. This is on nickel and our 75 area. So that's kind of where we are again. This 75 area looks like a pretty good buy one, 50 for buy two. On the sell side, our 15 to 25, and then 40 to 50 for sell two. And I don't see how the war can't help but affect long-term what's going on in the EU, but certainly on a one-day basis it doesn't. Okay, there are certain times when the world seems to be at peace, when just a headline of impending war will take crude oil up, and then when the actual fighting begins, it takes it even higher. So yesterday we came in, we did not recommend getting short crude oil. Something was going on, and it's the war. So 51 looks to kind of be the 51 and a quarter, the central price right here. So 50 to 75 is sell one. And then 52 and a quarter, sell two. On the buy side, 50, 78. And then that very round number, 50 and a quarter for buy two. And again, if you can't deliver in, you're probably not going to put on heavy shorts. It's just, I mean, it's the way it is. If you are a producer, you can lock in prices because you can deliver in. But if you don't have that ability, it tends to sideline you. And the E-mini, the initial reaction in all equity markets is for it to sell. It's a risk-on investment. Only stock market around the globe that was up was China's, and that's interesting. Part of it is the Chinese premier is talking in terms of supporting the economy through $1 trillion worth of public works. China is going out trying to stir up construction jobs, high-speed rail, all sorts of stuff anywhere in the world right now. Obviously, they can build nuclear reactors, too. But the rest of the stock markets off war are down. So China's backing of Iran, could that be part of it? You know, it's amazing to me, China and Russia, because they give aid and comfort and outright support to the bad guys, never think that they can be attacked. But there have been so many bombings in Moscow and killings in Russia. And you think that the Muslims are friendly to the Russian philosophy and approach on life? They're not. If they could get their hands on Russians, they kill them. And that's what they do terrorist attacks. But hadn't stopped Russia from backing Syria and Iran and more bad guys in the Middle East. Okay, we're going to look at F1 to maintain some perspective. Yesterday we had talked about the 50 area. Might pause the market, didn't know that war was coming. So right here we've got support at 34, at 32, and then 22 to 25. So 22 to 35 is pretty good support for this. Given the war and the uncertainty of such, I think it's going to go a little lower. So we got a low volume number down at 30 even, so 30, 32 by 1. We may have to pay up. The support might be in the 35 area. We'll put a question mark there. I do like the short side of the market, then 25 plus or minus for buy 2. On the sell side, 39 to 41 is near resistance, and then 44, 46 for sell 2. Jobless claims, 293. PMI services, $57. KC Fed, unchanged. Number 1, number 2, and nobody will pay any attention to KC Fed. It'll take about 20 minutes to get everything up and running. I'm going to get busy on that. See you as soon as possible.